this is another video that will help you out with the media that you have around your house. And today we're talking about photographs and how to scan them into your computer using your scanner. Because there's a good chance, not unless you're really an up-to-date modern user and you just don't have a need for a printer, chances are you have a printer, and a lot of people will buy, not only will they buy an inkjet printer, but they will buy a combo scanner printer unit so that they can do faxing, although not too many people do faxing, but you can still scan your documents and then you can email them to people. And you can also use your scanner for something else, which is what we're going to do today, which is to scan our old photos in. Because yes, you get your phones, your smartphones, and your tablets that you can snap pictures away all you want, and as long as you got memory space, you can just snap away. But your mom and dad, and grandmas and grandpas, and aunts and uncles may have given you photos or left behind photos. You might have the negatives. You might also have a bunch of like 35mm slides and even film. Well, we're going to look at how to scan photos today. And then I'll give you some information later on in the video as to what you can do with 35mm slides. Because doing your photos at home is not that hard as long as you have a scanner. And even if you went out and bought a scanner, you can scan your photos. And basically speaking, let's say you spent $100 and you got 500-600 photos. You're talking about 17-18 cents per photo to scan them in. And a lot of people are shutterbugs, their parents were, and you got more photos than that. And you won't really know how many photos you have until you actually count them up. All right, first off, we need a scanner. I got a scanner here. I've had it for several years. It's just an Epson. I picked it up for less than $100 at Best Buy. Works great. But I put my photos in here, and I'm going to lay 6 photos here. And basically speaking, you just open up your scanner, lay your pictures down, face down on the glass. And I've got these spread out. Now notice something here. I've put 6 photos on the scanner because the scanner plate is basically going to hold an 8.5 by 11, possibly 8.5 by 14, which is a legal document size sheet of paper. So instead of trying to scan each photo by itself, be smart. Put as many photos on there as you can. Now some of your photos will be bigger than these. These are all quite symmetrical, but nonetheless, it's just like Tetris or something. You just take whatever you can fit and lay them on there so that they're not overlapping. They can even go edge to edge, just don't make them overlap. And you can actually take one scan pass and get 6, 7 photos, or maybe some big photos, some 5x7s. You should be able to do actually about 2 5x7s, and then you get your 8x10s. You can do one of those, but those small ones, scan as many as you can at once, because it's easier to chop them up with some photo editing software than it is to scan each one physically. Digital is just faster than physical in a lot of ways, especially with scanning photos, because it takes about roughly 60 seconds for the scanner to scan all the photos in good resolution. All right, now we've got these on here, got the lid down. Let's go ahead and open up some software. I got my Epson software here on the screen. Let's bring that up. Here we go. All right. Now, something you're gonna get this with any software. You might have an HP scanner or a scanner from another company that you're using, because, like I say, you've got or Brother, because, like I say, you might have a combo unit with the scanner printer combo. But bring up your scanner options, because you can do a lot of this from the front of the unit. And what it does, a lot of these units now, you can just hit a button and it will auto scan. But I'm doing this manually just in case you might have an older scanner and software, but everything still works. So what we're going to do, we got our Epson scan software open. Now, there's a full auto mode, which I tested before. It literally scanned all the photos. Now, you saw me put them on there, 6 photos. It literally, the scanner scanned each photo. It made a pass. It didn't just do one pass and get them all. It actually made pass after pass and scanned each photo. It recognized that each picture was separate. And it scanned each picture separately. And then it dropped them all into my documents photo picture folder. But I'm going to go with the home mode. And I got it set here for photographs. You also have illustrations, like if you had some gift cards, you got a magazine setting, you have a newspaper setting, and then you have a text line art setting. But we're doing family photos, so we set photo. We got grayscale, black and white, and color. We got it set for color. Now, are we doing this? Our destination, is it going to go on screen or on the web? Is it going to go directly to a printer? I selected other, which allows it to be set up to go to my documents, pictures automatically. That's the default setting for a lot of software of most kinds, even with like your Word documents and things like that. If you were to go into your Word processor and you had just loaded the software, usually by default it'll go to your My Documents, and it'll actually know the difference between a regular My Documents. If it's a video, it'll go to the video folder. If you're doing photo editing work, it'll go and drop it into the photo folder. So we've got that set. Resolution is next. Dots per inches. Now the standard default is 300. But I think I'm going to go up. I'm going to go just for the heck of it. Even though these photos are they're a little faded. They're not the greatest photos in the world because they were taken, like I say, with one of those Instamatic cameras, and you can't set the focus on anything. If you wanted an image to be big, you just keep stepping back until you get it all in. If you wanted something close up, you stepped up close enough to get the closest shot that you wanted. You manually had to walk out the focus on it. So it's not real just super duper. So technically the standard is 300, but I think I'm going to try 600 just for the sake of argument, because these pictures are not portrait quality. So there's no sense in having a scanner work extra long to digitize those photos, because the higher the resolution, the DPI, dots per inch, the slower the scanner moves when it scans the photos. But if it's a quality picture with plenty of detail, it's not faded, and especially like if it's something like a newspaper clipping, or you're scanning in your as part of your family photo thing, you get some obituaries or something like that, you would go in and set for text or newspaper setting or whatever setting, and you would want to get a higher resolution. So for that, you might even want to go up to 1200 DPI. You can go all the way up to 4800 DPI. But I think 6 will probably get the job done. Now, we got some image adjustments that we can do. Dust removal, backlight correction, color restoration, which will actually kind of fix up the color a little bit ahead of time. And then there's decreasing, or should I say descreening, because there's you might have a little bit of a kind of, you might end up with a picture that has a little bit of it's almost like there's layers or rings of color, because maybe it's a shot of the sky or something like that. I do have some shots of the sky. So I think I'm going to go for the descreening. And just since the photos are a little faded, I'm going to try color restoration, and we'll see what happens. Brightness, I'm going to leave that right where it is. Let the scanner handle that. File save settings, just to be on the safe side. I got it set for pictures, bitmap, and it's got a IMG for imaging, and I'm going to save, now see right here, my documents, but you also have here pictures. So I'm just going to go and leave it right there for pictures. And we got that set. Let's do a preview, because like I say, when I did this the first time, there it goes. But when I did this the first time, it automatically scanned each photo, even though I had 6 there. All right. Let's see what we got. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It scanned them all. And it did them in a straight line. So that's kind of cool. So rotating the pictures is no big deal. But that's the preview shot. So I'm going to go ahead and scan. And the filtering looks like it worked out pretty good too. Little circle spinning, so it's working on it. Because the first time I did this, I did not do the de-screening and the color restoration. But I'm looking at those photos. I think it did a good job. There it goes. You know what? It scanned all of them in. It recognized them. It's doing it anyway. It's scanning all the photos. Now, if you notice over here on this box, the progress bar, look at it. It says scanning 2, 6. It's actually still scanning all of them separately. So that actually is going to make the job of doing this overall a little bit easier because I can crop all the photos out and save them separately. But if it's going to do it, let it do it. I figured it was in home mode, it would let me bypass that, but it's doing it. Since it's doing it and it's going to take a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and we'll bypass the whole operation, which takes about 3 minutes. And we'll go right into the editing portion of it in a minute here. All right, it's scanning picture 6 of 6 right now, which would be, what would that be? But notice over here, okay, it just finished scanning. Let me bring this back up. You notice it has a checkbox in each one of these? That checkbox would allow us, like say, you decided, well, I don't want that, and I don't want that with the chickens. You can actually deselect or reselect. So you can actually tell the automatic settings of the scanner software which ones you want and which ones you don't. But it scanned them all, we got them all, and it brought them up. So those are the pictures we got, so I can actually close the scanner. It's just letting me know that the preview will be lost if I close it. That's cool. We already got them. And I can close the scanning software itself. All right, let's just pop this open. Now we can see here, let's get the view. Let's go extra large. There we go. It scanned all of them in, and they're sideways. No big deal. Let's go and open up some editing software. Boy, that did a nice job enhancing that color because those photos are actually kind of faded. I'm going to go into my editing software over here. I'll marginalize that a little bit. I think I'll bring the view back down. There. I'm going to use IrFanview. This is free off the internet. It's super simple software, but it gets the job done. I find that this is a great, simple meat and potatoes every day. Just go ahead and do what you got to do software. I like it. I really like it. Now, you can go fancier, and you can get into the GIMP, which is also free. That software has often been compared by a lot of users and people who have reviewed it as being the next best thing to using a pretty full-size version of Adobe software to do photo editing because you can do a lot of stuff with it. It's a powerful piece of software, and it's called the GIMP, G-I-M-P, and it's free off the internet, just like the IrFanview is. So let's click on our folder here. I got 2 folders. I can close that one. I'm going to open that one up. Now, there's 2 ways I can bring these in to IrFanview. I can go with my file folder up here, and you can see it open up to the pictures, and I can grab a photo. Let's see, where's that one? That was number 12. That was number 11. Who's that? When we starting at 11? Okay, I'll start at 11. And we can bring them in like this. Now, the picture is sideways. We got all the jet planes sitting on the tarmac. Let's rotate it. We can come up here to image. Rotate left. One, we're done. Now, there's another way to do that as well. I'm going to take this back. There's another way to do this. You notice I took it back, and I didn't even have to go into the menu of image up here. But I took it back and rotated it to the right, because if you'll notice here, it says rotate left, letter L. So on my keyboard, all I have to do is hit letter L as many times as I want to rotate to the left. Rotate to the right, it's letter R. And then you can do a Control U for fine rotation, which we might have to get into to get them perfectly straight. Then you got a vertical flip, which took it in the opposite direction. And then we got a horizontal flip, which is H. And that did that. So I just need to put this straight back up. So I hit the letter R on the keyboard. And there it is. Now, we can do this two ways as far as editing these photos. We can leave them with the photo paper edge around it. Or we can modernize it a little bit if you want to. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you want pure nostalgia, you leave the border, because it's not ugly. You get the little black line down there, but so what? That's the way it used to be. So if you want to go pure nostalgia, leave the white border. If you don't, no problem. I'm going to hit my F12. You can also come up here to edit, show paint dialog, and you can click on it like that. That just made it go away, but I can bring it back like that. Or, like I say, just hit your F12 key, and there it is. Now, if we select the arrow key, that's our selection tool. So for this, we can just simply go up to the corner inside the picture, and we can draw our box out. This is giving us a cursor box, as you can see. And I'll bring that over just a little bit to the edge. Now, let's say you're having a little trouble seeing that. You can always use your magnifying glass, plus and minus. Minus, of course, takes it further away. And you can see how much here. This brings it in percentage-wise. So we can go all the way up to 100% right there. And then we have to use our slide bars to get to the edge, but we can still move that. So if you want to get super hypercritical, you can do that. So now let's go back in, because I monkeyed around with it so much. There, we got it set. Now, we can crop this photo. It's called cropping. Come over to Edit, Crop Selection. You can also use your shortcut keys, which is Control plus the letter Y. But we're here, so crop. There we go. We just took out the border. So this moves us ahead about 10 years as far as photographic quality of pictures to more of a 35 millimeter kind of a picture taking. But now look at this. Even though this enhanced, the scanner automatically did a little color enhancing, it's just not that hot of a picture as far as color wise. And the sky up here, you see we've got this sort of filtered band thing going on, and there's nothing up there. It's not like there's a jumbo jet coming in for a landing or something like that. Let's quality this photo up just a little bit. And this, because I took this photo from a second floor landing, so this is actually roof. There's the ground or tarmac down there. This is the top of a building. So let's go in with our cursor and let's do a little bit of surgery on it. You see, I went up below the bandings of that yellow, that discoloration. Since we already edited the edge, we can pull that all the way out to the edge, and it just stops, as you can plainly see. I can't carry that any further because we've edited the shot, so we changed the boundaries. But now, I don't need all this on the bottom. That's just the top of a building. So I think what I'm going to do, see that little, you can see where the arrow R is. There's also like a little black shadow there or something. Let's go above that shadow. Let's knock out a little bit of that roof line. And we're below the yellow banding there. I'm going to leave a little sky. It's going to leave a little yellow, but that should be okay. Now, let's crop it. I'll do the shortcut. Control key, Y. Letter Y. There. Now, look at that. Let me move my paint tools out. Look at what we got now. That looks better, doesn't it? We still got a little yellow here because it's kind of an overcast day. That's why it's so great looking. But even though the planes are fuzzy, it still looks a lot better. So I'm going to save that one. I'm going to click Save. We're in our Pictures folder inside of my documents. I got it set for bitmap. That's cool because I can always convert to other formats. So if I want to send these to somebody, I can always turn them into JPEGs or PNG, which gives you, actually I think PNG gives you a little bit more of a post-editing capability. And so does bitmap because it's uncompressed. But it's originally image 11. We're going to say that is, we'll just say that jets at airport. Yeah, and I got do I have another jets? Yes, I do. I'm going to put a space and a number 1. Click enter, and it's saved. How do we know it's saved? Right there, jets at airport, and you see it's right side up. School photo. Okay, this is a bus shot at a school. This one is kind of unusual in it, or should I say not unusual, but it has a little difficulty because you can see everything looks like it's slanted down, which means that I held the camera, my little Instamatic camera, tilted towards the right. The right's down a little bit, and the left is up a little bit, so it looks like the bus should technically just roll right off the picture. So let's correct that. Let's rotate that bad boy. We'll come up with an image. Control Fine Rotation. Now, zero it out. Now, we need to go to the left. We need to tilt it, or we need to tilt the left down and the right up. So we'll go negative numbers. The bus, you can see it's going down here. It's not quite as much there. I think I'm going to need, that's looking better. See how the bus is leveling out? Let's get that bus on level ground so the kids won't roll off into the woods. All right, I'll go with a minus 2.10 degrees. Now, that looks a lot better. We still get a little bit of a tilt, but not bad. But now you're looking at this, you're going, wait, what? We got to leave it like that? Of course not. Just like with the other photos, we'll use our cursor. The cursor, by the way, is the default setting. So even though it's not on the screen over here, I can bring it up. But the little arrow is always the default, especially when you first open it up. But now, we got all this sky up here. Now, I don't need all that sky because look at we got all that blue and yellow mixing in. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit. We'll lose the clouds, but I think we'll be okay. And since we tilted this, I got to keep it square. Put the band right there. Move this one in a little bit. Put the band right there. We're going to chop off just a tiny bit of the bus. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit. We're going to keep some of the grass. Now, I'll do a crop. There. How's that? That looks better. We still got a lot of that banding up here and a little dust speck. But we took out some of the grass, which we didn't need. We still got the bus. And it looks okay. I don't know if we can enhance this thing. Actually, I gave it just a pinch more color, I think. Take it out. Yep. Let's redo that. Control J to redo it. And let's go in and let's do a little sharpen. I think the sharpen helped a little bit. Keep an eye on the building and the bus. Let's see, I'm gonna undo it. Let's redo it. It's super subtle. I can notice the brakes got a little bit more color to them, but there it is. Because the sky coloring actually bled down here. But funky photo to begin with, because it's been sitting for, these pictures were taken in 1972. But not too bad of a picture here, because we got a little blue banding down here from the sky, from the image. But this picture was faded, and it's also from 1972, because one of the pictures had the number on the back of it, the year. And it's a systematic photo, once again, from a long distance. But you know it's an older shot, because look at the front of the bus. Everything's kind of squared out. They used to have the milk delivery trucks, used to look like that. They'd drive through the neighborhood. You'd have the milk delivery trucks, and they'd have that kind of squarish front. And then you get that rounded back. This looks like this should be an old movie. Because technically, at this point, it is old. It's an old photograph. But that'll work. So let's save it. And we're just going to call that school and, oops, I forgot to put my gap in there. School, forgot to put a hole in there too. School and bus. There we go. Just for the heck of it. 1972. There we go. Boom. Now we got that one. We saved all of our photos in an edited format. So now we can close out this, our IrFanview photo editing software. Here's where we're at. I'll widen that out. Now, since we've already done our photo editing, what we can do for safekeeping, because memory is not a big issue these days, ladies and gentlemen. So what I would suggest, we're going to go with a new folder, because we're not going to use those. They're empty anyway. I'm going to go to new folder, and this one I'm going to put vacation photos. And what I'm going to do, we got vacation photos. Now it's highlighted already. I'm going to go inside. Right mouse button, click again. New folder. Raw photos. You can call them unedited if you want to. And then do another photo. Edited photos. Right there. Boom. Now, what we can do is we can just come back out. All right, right now we're in what Windows calls quick access, and it has desktop downloads, documents, and pictures. So we're inside of the documents folder, technically. And what it did is it just put a link up here so we can get to the photos quick, because you can see a picture of it. But right here, under this computer, pictures, I'm going to click this down arrow, because if I click it, it doesn't change this over here, as you can see. But it does give us one big advantage. Now we can get all the subfolders. There's our vacation photos right there. That's the master folder. Here is our raw photos, and here's our edited folders. All I gotta do, I'm gonna click on image number 16, hold down my control key, and click 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11. Now, I have all of the scanned photos in their raw form selected. I can let go of the control key. Just click and hold and drag. So it's a click and drag down here to where it highlights it in blue, raw photos. Let it go. You see they disappeared from over here. Now we can take these photos here and we can do the same thing. And we can hold down the control key and we can click each one separately, which also works good if you want to cherry pick. Like say if you only wanted those three, you can cherry pick with the control key and clicking on them. But what we can do this time is we can just click the first photo, hold the shift key, and it selects all of them. But now we got them selected. So click and drag, and we have our vacation photos. That's the master photo. But let's say we want to keep that as the master photo for all of our vacation photos, and you're going to do a ton of them. You can go, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can have vacation photos, and inside you can actually create another folder. And we can go vacation 1972. And I can drop the raw photos and the edited photos in there. So now we get vacation photos. And then when we click our down arrow, it says vacation 1972. There's our edited photos, there's our raw photos, right there together, just in case maybe you want to go back and you want to pull just the raw photos because you want to do some sort of a touch-up or something like that. And like I say, there's a lot more powerful software out there. So if I decide to come back in and say, open up the GIMP or Photo Impact or Adobe photo editing software or whatever one of the brands is out there, I could actually go back and pull the raw photos and go in and crop them and then do colorations on a much finer detail level. But these photos, like I say, they're kind of faded. So, and plus for this demonstration, I didn't want to have it too complicated. But IrFanview got the job done, and there's our vacation photos. Now, the neat thing about this, you got vacation photos 1972. I can do another one. Vacation 1980. And in that folder, you can put all your vacation photos from 1980. And you can even go in, like say you took 2 vacations. You had a Christmas vacation. Christmas vacation 1980, and you also had a summer vacation. Because you parents in particular, you know, when school's out, you got your vacation time. You got Christmas, spring break, and summer. So let's say this is summer vacation 1980. And then inside of those folders, just do the same thing. Create folders in here for raw folders, pictures. Oops, that ain't right. Raw. New folder. Right mouse button click. The power of the right mouse button. It's really cool. All right, and then these are edited. Put the date on there. Boom. Even though the date's on the folder, I can still do it. The more information you can give yourself, the better. Makes it easier. There. Now we got raw. We got raw and edited folders right there. And if we had pictures in there, we'd be all set because why? Summer 1980. Fold it up. Collapse it. Christmas 1980. You could do that. So there's different ways to do this. And then, like I say, there's summer, there's Christmas, and you can throw some folders in there, as many as you want. And then collapse vacation 1980, vacation 1972. Where are they all at? The master folder, vacation photos. There's 72, there's 80. So you can keep things really organized. So you've seen a real easy way to do old-fashioned photos, scanning them into your computer using a flatbed scanner. Or if you got a printer scanner combo, works the same way. There is no difference. You're just not going to try to print all those photos. And then the thing about it is, if you want to make copies of all that, you can do that because Walmart and Walgreens, I know for sure, still develop photos. And they will also take, I know Walmart in particular will take your old photos, slides, 8mm film. They also take video cassettes and things like that. And you might have had a VHS camera or VHS-C, which was the C stood for compact. It just used a smaller tape. But you might have all kinds of stuff saved that if something were to happen, you wouldn't want to lose it. You know, like if you have a fire, you have a flood, you don't want to lose that stuff because those are your memories. That's also a connection to your past. All right, I hope that helps you out a bit to give you some options there, just in case you don't want to do it yourself because you don't feel like doing it, you don't have the time, or you don't have the patience to sit down and do that. That's cool. There are services that still will do that, and probably a Walmart or Walgreens near you. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.